On this week's episode of Blown Pixel, we talk about Facebook drones, boiling water, and social live video sharing. This is Blown Pixel.
Try again.
Welcome to Blown Pixel Episode 8. We are back from a little vacation of sorts.
Yeah, it's been like a month. It's like it's been a whole month.
What's funny is in the last episode we were like, oh, we don't like we're gonna be out of town and we won't skip a week. And I was like, are we sure? And then here we are a month later.
Yeah, so T-Rave, I was in New York. Where were you at?
I was in Las Vegas while you were in New York. The following week, I think I was coming down with sickness. Thank you, Omaha pollen. And then I think last week was like moving / other busy life stuff.
I was in a blizzard actually in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, LaGuardia got shut down. You heard about this? Like a plane was trying to take off and kind of slid into a snowbank, and they had to like evacuate the plane and everything, and they closed it that whole day. And I left the next day, so the airport was okay, but it was insane.
It has been a while. A lot of things have happened actually between the last episode and now, and I know we were talking about this before the show, but Giga OM shut down. Man, big news website for the internet. Basically ran out of money, and that shuts that era down. So that's one of the big things that's happened in the last month.
Well, South by Southwest happened, so there was, our crew went down there. I didn't go. I'm not cool enough, apparently.
I've still yet to go to South by Southwest.
Yeah, I've never gone either. I feel like it's every year I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I got more stuff to do. It's just hard to justify
obligatory Facebook or tweet, like, who's going? And then the back of your mind, you're like, I'm not going.
I'm not going. Going. Well, so, I mean, I think, like, the major benefit to South by Southwest right now is just networking. So if you're there to do paneling, you got to start up, you're selling hard, trying to close deals. Like, that's when you go to South by. So barring that, I don't know. I think it's like a carnival of sorts, right? That was and to let people know what we mean by South by is in our world we only really think about the interaction side of things. So we're the weirdo people that like don't even know there's a film or music version of that. It's just brand activations and dumb things like that.
But on that note, I will say coming up in a month or two is Middle of the Map Fest.
Oh, yeah.
In Kansas City, which a few years ago, several people kind of equated it to South by Southwest, what it used to be. And it has come a long way, but if you are in the Midwest area looking for an awesome music lineup, interactive as well, and film, definitely check out Middle of the Map Fest. It's a great time, and it's coming up with a lot of great bands. OK Go's going to be there.
So actually,
they're a headliner.
The funny thing you mentioned there is one of the founders of South by Southwest actually makes Middle of the Map. And in fact, we got another thing too. The Folk Alliance here is either the same guy or another guy that also founded South by Southwest. So it looks like they're like, maybe Kansas City can carve itself a place for in 10 years anyway for the next South by.
So yeah, life has happened. A lot of things outside of our little worlds have happened, and I'm in a new place. That's why the background looks a little bit different. So
I am in the same place.
You are in the same place.
So one other thing too that's coming up is Maker Faire, of course. So
Maker Faire.
That one's coming up in June 27th and 28th. It's still like a month or two out, but I just wanted to let folks know about that because Kansas City has the 4th largest one, and it's awesome. You always get to see cool stuff there. T-Rave, is there anything else going on? I mean, so I've been hanging out, by the way, with the TechStars stuff for the Sprint Accelerator. So there's been a lot of cool projects. Their class just started. It's a 3-month program, and they're 1 month in so far. It looks like they're doing some cool stuff there too.
Here in mid-April, Flywheel is opening their doors to the public for an open house. We've been in our new space for quite a while, last 6 months or so, maybe a little less, and we're finally showing it off to people. So if you're in the Omaha area, we'll probably post a link on our Facebook. You can check it out there, or at least follow Flywheel, the Omaha-based Flywheel, managed WordPress hosting on Facebook, and you'll find out. It'll be fun, and it will be with free booze, so that's always a plus.
See, that's how you get folks involved. It's just beer and pizza.
Booze. Meet me in the back alley. I got booze.
Okay,
all right,
so
let's jump into
this started. Let's get this started, T-Ray.
All right, ready to get it rolling.
So do you want to go first, or do I want to go
Sure,
first?
I can go first. So, Periscope. If you're not familiar with it, if you're behind the times, and when I say behind the times, I mean literally like 12 hours of this episode being recorded. Periscope is a new social app for live video streaming, what you are doing, and it syncs up to Twitter, tweets out to your group, and anyone can join that glimpse of your recording. Now, you might be familiar. You might be sitting there and going, wait, but there's been another hot live streaming video social service that patches into Twitter as well, called Meerkat. And so Meerkat has been out for, I'm not quite sure, but they were out prior to Periscope, and Periscope then basically was opened to the world, I believe, today. It is a Twitter-owned company, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and we'll get your thoughts on this in a moment, Cody. But it feels like when Twitter locked down their API and basically junk punched everyone that was using their API and said, you can't do that anymore. Oh, Instagram, you can't post images here. Now, I don't know the full thing, but it feels like Twitter was like, oh man, Meerkat, here's Periscope, suck it.
No, I think you're right about that.
I mean, to be fair, Twitter bought Periscope a few months ago for roughly to the tune of $100 million, so they've been putting in their back pocket. Meerkat has... Yeah, Meerkat has kind of kicked them into gear, and there it is. So, thoughts, go. What are you thinking about Periscope or Meerkat or live streaming social apps?
Okay, so, for me, I think that, political stuff aside from, like, the inner workings of competition between Twitter, Meerkat, etc., I think this is super, super useful in a very real way. I think that, with kind of the ability to have the amateur reporter as we kind of usher in the new form of news, or rather continue on the trend of kind of self-reporting news, this is really, really useful. I know that there's been concerns that, like, when you're recording video on your phone, then there's not a great way to immediately push it to the cloud for storage. So, if you're in a situation, maybe you're in a war zone or something, and, either your phone gets destroyed or it's taken, or, we have a lot of these issues with race riots and everything else. The people that are actually recording these types of things have found that there's no good way to actually live stream what's going on, A, and B, I mean, they have to process the video. It's a volatility to keep that. So from the kind of like, hey, there's an earthquake happening, hey, there's a building on fire, basically ways to get the larger, society hooked into things as they're immediately happening. I think an app like this, Meerkat or Periscope, I don't care who it is, but it's very, very important to kind of how we find out about news that's happening as it's happening. The kind of an eyewitness report. At the fact. So what are some of your thoughts there, T-Ray?
Well, Meerkat, kind of started blowing up in the last few weeks, and the difference between these, there's one huge difference, and Meerkat is like on demand. Right when you're streaming, people can access that video. Once you cut it off, it's gone. It's almost like live video streaming Snapchat in a way. Once it's gone, it's gone. Periscope, you can actually kind of rewind, see different clips. I'm with you. To be able to instantly record and share is a big utility that has been needed. I'm not saying this is like new technology by any means. Live stream has been on your phone, and you can different Ustream and those, but this is definitely already patched into Twitter and uses that broadcast tool to really bring people in.
I had a quick question about that too. So like Ustream, so this is the first time I've been aware of, and I just haven't been looking, that you could actually stream off of a phone to a greater populace. Are you saying that like Ustream was able to do that before?
I believe Ustream or Livestream, one of them, you could off of your phone. Some of these people have actually, Livestream, they've partnered or somehow worked with GoPro, where the GoPro 3 and 4 connects to your phone and streams the GoPro via your phone data.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean, there's been these types of services, but at scale.
Kind of approachability is a lot better with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so on my list, I have, one of the things that happened recently is Facebook's conference F8, and this is kind of an interesting year. They announced a lot of cool stuff, including some of the latest on Oculus Rift. They showed off a game demo of sorts that was really cool. They, Messenger is now becoming a lot more of a substantial platform, being able to send money, being able to do all kinds of multimedia, all that. But the one thing that I really liked was that Facebook's getting into the drone game. And, as we always have some kind of crazy robot, world-changing thing, seems like Google's gotten into the drone game, and I want you to know that when I talk about these kind of drones, they're more similar to UAVs than they are like the DJI stuff. So there is a video, and basically these drones in this video, their partnership with Aquila will let them kind of shoot these UAVs across the sky at a really low altitude. Its solar panel, will grab all the energy for that process, and they will beam internet down. Again, this kind of race for the next billion-dollar market, because of all the multi-billion people that don't have access to the internet.
This, is Google still plotting out their UAV or weather balloon-ish internet?
It sounds like private companies are basically on this warpath to get the rest of the world on to the internet, because it's a lot easier to onboard, many billion people to those individual services, which is in and of itself kind of a surreal concept if you think about it. I mean, you have private companies that like a search engine or like Facebook or whatever, and they have enough power, and technology's gotten cheap enough, fast enough, cool enough to actually start making satellite grade stuff in order to deliver internet in third world countries and all across the world.
I love hearing about any company or any person going after a field like that, with trying to connect the world as a whole, and from different backgrounds, whether it's a cheap tablet to actually delivering the internet or the cell phone. So, and along with drones, that kind of kicks us into the next article, which is FAA streamlines its rules to speed up permits to fly commercial drones below 200 feet. Now, we've talked about this several times. We talked about drones, it seems like every week, but commercial drones, they're actually discussing kind of speeding that up. these rules are kind of, it's a gray area right now of what drones can occupy in airspace, and these are definitely drones that are outside of, you mentioned DJI, the personal drones. These are commercial, such as Amazon wants to deliver products via these drones, and so the FAA is streamlining its rules, within the 200 feet zone. I know in San Francisco, at one point there was a burrito copter.
Yes, I remember the burrito copter.
That they wanted to deliver burritos, obviously through a copter, and really just because of airspace and regulations and safety concerns, they shut it down. So this is kind of big. Again, this is for commercial. The consumer type or prosumer-ish area of these drones is still obviously kind of out there, as we've discussed in other episodes. It's not far off that we're going to have devices flying around, within 200 to 5,000 feet of where we stand in cities. So
yeah, it's like the new frontier kind of is air. It seems like. Now I will make a comment about the Amazon situation too. It seems like the FAA, in one hand, says here's some new regulations and rules, Amazon, and in the same note, it's like it has to be. There were some crazy restrictions on that basically made any kind of autonomous drone testing impossible or illegal. So that was unfortunate from what we saw in that. They had to have a pilot. They had to have line of sight. They had to have, all these restrictions on that. So Amazon's obviously fighting a lot of this, and this is kind of just the first cut of where the FAA is starting to roll out some regulations on this type of thing. But you're right. I mean, it seems like the air is the next big thing between all these drones and all this other stuff. So I think it's pretty cool. It's not like
I can't wait for
yet.
Zeppelin drones.
So we've talked about the Zeppelin many times, and we will soon have a event Zeppelin, not a party Zepp, an event Zeppelin.
But on to that in a later episode.
Of course. So I've got as a rabid pasta fan. Pasta is like one of my favorite things, but. I am not a human that's fit for the patience and elegance of cooking. It's just, it's the craftsmanship that I lack, truly, the patience for that type of thing. So, of course, we've got a new form of pasta innovation by Pronto. And this is pasta that doesn't require actually boiling it. Which is incredibly exciting to me.
There you go. Can't ask for more than that. That's science right there.
This is more than science. It's dreams in the making, yes.
Oh, pasta.
Okay. So we've got...
Unlike what? Did you hear Kraft was recalling everything since November or October? I don't know, something like that. Oh, pasta in the news. So to quickly finish off the main core of articles, Square Cash just had a new update within the last few days, and they offered cash tags, and so now you can actually assign your name to your account that anyone can just kind of publicly send you money through Square Cash. If you're not familiar with Square Cash, it is through Square, those little devices or platforms that you use at your coffee shop or if you're a small business or whatever. Same company. Now does cash that you can transmit between people. It's really slick. It's like they've kept it super simple. I love the app. We love it in the office to buy lunch for whoever and then just Square Cash them. Right now there are no fees on it, which is another nice thing about that. But with the cash tags, now you can kind of say, hey, $Trave, Trave. If you want to send me money, you can use that, and you can send me money randomly, and it
Pasta
will
money.
end up in my bank account. It is all based on your bank account / debit, so it is real cash, kind of like the Duwala side of things, where they actually tap into your bank account, and it's money that you physically have. And then they also opened Square Cash up to businesses. So now businesses can use it for a 1.5% cut out of that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. If you are looking for a way to give people money or cash or whatever, Square Cash is definitely the way to do it. I love it. That's another endorsement for, well, in this terms, for Sir Dorsey of the Twitter Dorseys.
The Twitter Dorseys?
All right, Jack Dorsey, for those that don't know, also one of the founders of Twitter. All right, yeah. Anyway.
That was the best thing ever. I was not expecting
of the Twitter
that.
Dorseys.
Of
So,
course. Of
anyway.
House Twitter. Yes. All right, so I've got our favorite section, of course, in Musk We Trust. I fuck it up every time.
Yeah,
I fuck it up every time. This time I said twust.
In Musk We Trust. Okay, Elmer Thud.
Right.
In Musk We Trust. Go for it.
All right, so I got another piece of SpaceX news, okay? So it's our favorite company, our favorite aerospace company, SpaceX. And it looks like they have converted a launch complex in Cape Canaveral to a landing complex. So this kind of goes into SpaceX's immediate kind of focus on making reusable, ships, cargo planes, cargo vessels, whatever.
Cargo spacecrafts.
Yes.
I stole that from the article.
Spacecrafts, of course. But because we don't have the shuttle anymore, there's a huge interest in this type of innovation. And this is the kind of thing that, when you're shooting cargo up to the International Space Station, you need to be able to reuse these gigantic, costly endeavors. So with the landing complex, we may be able to see some of the next Falcon or Dragon launches go up, and then do their business, come down, and actually land. It's also really important, if we're looking at other planets. So, when we are colonizing Mars, it's very helpful to be able to take re-entry or an entry into a planet's atmosphere and then, again, push out. And this has kind of been the dream of sci-fi and all this other stuff. So it's very exciting to see some of these things move forward. They've been doing some tests as of late to kind of test out some of that technology, and it looks like full steam ahead on that front. So, yep, there you go.
Yeah, and what's cool is what I'm just kind of briefly reading over this. They released, they took off all the copyright from the images that they have, and SpaceX has posted a lot of, holy shit, these are badass images. They're on Flickr. They're on Flickr, and they have like launches and landings and just amazing stuff. Took copyright off that, so feel free to check those out as they're awesome. And then to finish off in Musk We Trust, in the Tesla realm of things, I was driving to the beautiful land of Kansas City a week or two ago, and we pulled off right when we got into Iowa, and my girlfriend goes, "That looks like Tesla. Those look like Tesla." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I swung the minivan that we had around, and sure enough, there are Tesla charging stations here off of I-29 right before you get into Nebraska in the Iowa side of things. And I text you immediately, Cody, and it's
of course, I got the picture and everything.
I was like, we were kind of right. They're trying to build the corridor of I-70. Now I say I-29 because that goes north out of Kansas City, which makes practical sense. It's about 180 miles outside of Kansas City north, and so that makes sense. Like
suspiciously in line with current Tesla battery ranges, isn't it?
Yeah, shockingly enough. So I took a photo, tweeted that out. Really awesome. I was very proud of my girlfriend for spotting that, because I was like, oh, it's probably just like a normal car charging station. It's like, holy shit, it's Tesla. So not only does Tesla now have charging stations in Iowa behind, I think, the TJ Highway Max off of I-29. But in Kansas City, they actually have a physical building by Kauffman and Arrowhead Stadium. And so things are happening. Things are happening in the Tesla world. So
exciting.
I'm excited. I want one. I don't have the money to have one.
You gotta wait until 2017 when the 35K model comes out.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the cool things about this, too, that I guess it's been a month, so I forgot about this happening. But all the existing Tesla vehicles are getting all the autonomous or pseudo-autonomous features of the Tesla D. So that is very cool, and I totally blanked about that. I forgot about it.
We totally didn't talk about how, like, Elon basically said it's going to be illegal to drive a car.
Well, okay, so he's obviously projecting his
further down the line, but
ideas on that. But we've talked about this. I mean, so one of the big benefits of self-driving cars, one of the big driving factors, haha, jokes, is that people are awful, they're human, and they make mistakes constantly. And by taking the element of that out of the equation, then you can actually have much safer rides to wherever you want. Plus, you're not like sitting there and getting pissed or whatever you're doing. I don't know, trying to Snapchat.
That's it. That's all we have. We are a little rusty, but I think we made it through swimmingly. So that has been episode 8 of Blown Pixel. We will be back next week as on schedule.
Please hang up and try again.